Hello, Tim from Fair Play Now on the 28th of January 2022. I've been distracted by a couple of other bits and pieces this week, as you'll know if you've watched other videos that I've done. But yesterday, of course, here in England was the lifting of all of the lurgy restrictions. Now, I haven't had a chance to get out and about at all, but it would be interesting to see what other people's feedback is. Has all the people, how many people have kind of taken those off, how many people are keeping them on, etc. And I'm just interested to understand how it compares to last time when the restrictions were eased supposedly for the final time back in July of last year. And from memory, it kind of was a very slow burn thing. I think it started off with about the muzzleage dropped from 100% or near enough 100% down to about 90, maybe 85%. In July, and then kind of as we went through the summer and early autumn, it gradually dwindled until we got to the point where just before the latest nonsense started, it was getting down to about, in many places, under 50% muzzleage, but apart from some supermarkets where it kind of remained reasonably high. So I'm just wondering how it's compared so far in the last sort of couple of days. So if you want to leave your experiences and feedback on that, I'd be interested in seeing them. So leave your comments on that in the comment section below. That would be great to see. So apart from that, it's been a slightly slow news week this week. Certainly here in England, after last week, I was expecting it to be kind of a lot more news coming out one way or the other, but certainly here that doesn't seem to be the case, not from what I've seen. I know I've been a little bit distracted anyway, but the news, really, the main news is this whole Canadian trucker thing. I think they're all gathering in Ottawa tomorrow, I believe it is, and it's going to be very interesting to see what happens. And they're taking the proverbial out of Trudeau kind of big time, aren't they, after his ridiculous speech where he just said, oh, it's a fringe minority with unacceptable views. Well, if you call kind of wanting bodily autonomy and choice over what goes into your own body or not, and basically freedom from ridiculous mandates, well, I don't think that's exactly what you could call unacceptable views. I mean, how ridiculous. And you only have to see how ridiculous the other part of his statement was, fringe minority, and look at some of the footage that's coming out of Canada, the thousands of vehicles and the sort of tens of thousands of people kind of lining the route, to see that it's anything but a fringe minority. In fact, it looks to me, very much feels to me as well, that it is kind of ordinary, everyday, hard-working Canadians who are getting behind this. And, I think Trudeau is in real big trouble now. And that's kind of been brought to light because conveniently he's gone down with the lurgy, even though apparently he feels fine, and he's decided he's got to go into 5-day isolation, even though strictly speaking he doesn't, because he's had the V, he's kind of observing other things as well, and so apparently he doesn't necessarily have to do the 5-day isolation thing, but apparently he is. So that's convenient for him, isn't it? So yeah, I think that is kind of a sign that he is in very big trouble. I saw a interview. I won't go into too much detail right now in this particular video about who was in the interview, but basically what they were saying is, or talking about, is the Great Awakening, which is a term that's been bandied around quite a lot over the last sort of year or two, and I think it is going to turn out to be one of the sort of big benefits of what's happened. This whole thing is going to wake up a lot of people to not just this nonsense, but a lot of other nonsense that goes on in the world, and hopefully it's going to, as I say, wake up a lot of people. And the term Great Awakening can mean different things as well. In the facts, it could be waking up to the fact that your politicians and mainstream media don't necessarily have your best interests at heart. It could mean that the profession that you rely on if you go into a big place that starts with H, they might not necessarily have your best interests at heart. They might have kind of certain financial interests more top of mind. That is the institutions I'm not talking about, not the individuals who, for the most part, are highly dedicated people, but institutionally I'm talking about there. And yeah, it also relates to a lot of other different things as well. But in this interview, they were talking about one way the Great Awakening is going to manifest itself is more and more people are just going to wake up to the fact that it is they, the people, and not the government, who are top dog. Because we all have been brought up, haven't we, to think, like the government are all the way up here, and then you've got the sort of the government institutions, police, and all the rest of it, and then we're right down here at the bottom, sort of just expected to pay our taxes, obey orders, and mandates, and laws, no matter how absurd they are, and just to get on with it. And that has been what we've always been taught, isn't it? But I think more and more people are waking up to the fact that it's the other way around. We are the ones in charge, and it is they who are there to serve us. Clues in the name of a public servant, isn't it? So that is one thing that has been forgotten, not only by us the people, but definitely by those that supposedly at the top. And I think that is something that people are waking up to more and more and more, and something that the powers that shouldn't be, who have been terrified that we actually find this out, and we begin to realise that it is us who have the true power. And because, as I think they said in this interview, well, they're at the top of the pyramid, but if the rest of the base of the pyramid is pulled away from them, there's nothing to hold them up, is there? So that kind of graphically demonstrates how it is us who have got the real power. And yeah, I saw that firsthand for myself last week when I had my little episode in the local police station here. When I went in, I don't know if you've seen that video, I kind of linked to it on my other kind of channel, one of the videos I did last week when I was kind of on the naughty step as far as this channel is concerned. You can see that and go and watch the video concerned if you haven't seen it already on my other channel, sort of Fair Play Right Now. But anyway, the upshot of it was I was in the police station with some other stand in the parkers, and we just went in and told the police what we expect them to do. I won't go into too much about the story, detail about the story, but it was clear that as we were sort of reading them the riot act, they were just standing there dumbfounded, the sort of police personnel, because undoubtedly they'd never been in that situation before, having members of the public going in and telling them that, yeah, we expect you to sort of listen to this, take it seriously, and to take action. And so that kind of just shows that we really do have the power, and it's nothing is highlighting it more than this Canadian trucker thing. Just to come back to that, to sort of make sense of what I'm talking about. Yeah, and the fact that this trucker thing seems to be, from what I can see from the videos I've seen, it seems to be galvanising pretty much the whole nation. And if you're in Canada, I know I've got a few Canadians who watch these videos. Yeah, tell me what the general sense of this is on the ground there. And is it kind of the whole country getting behind the truckers, or is it sort of a minority, or is it quite a large segment of the population? And it does seem like it's a large segment of the population from what I can see here. So it really does seem like it's gathering pace, and I think this weekend is going to just demonstrate how powerful the sort of people power really is. So I'm kind of, as I said in a couple of videos before this, I'm going to be keeping close eye on this Canadian trucker story, and it's also seems to be expanding. I think Brazilian truckers are on the road, American truckers are on the road, and I think I even saw one report Swedish truckers are on the road up there in Sweden as well. So it's something that is expanding. And just one curious little thing, point of synchronicity, which I found quite amazing. Just to finish this off, last week on our shopping trip up to London on the 22nd of January, I was up there obviously doing my filming and shooting a few stills, and which I'll leave a few of those at the end of this video for you to have a look at. I'll put half a dozen or so stills up, and it just so happened that I was shooting these stills just of the scene, the people in the crowds and stuff, trying to get some people shots, some interesting things. But we happened to be right outside the Canadian embassy in central London there, so with all the Canadian flags sort of hanging down, and yeah, so it's quite amazing that we were there. And you know, I've got these pictures which show us in front of the Canadian embassy, and then this week all of this Canadian trucker stuff's happening. And yeah, I just thought that was a real nice bit of synchronicity. Anyway, with that thought, I'll leave it for today. Back tomorrow. Tim from Fair Play Now. Thanks for watching.